Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. Okay, let's do a recap of week 17 of the marathon train so far. Week 17 took place from the 4th of September to the 10th of September, and it's also the second last week of the taper leading up to the race day. So Monday was just a bit of rest, a bit of walking, did some strength work in the evening, plenty of foam rolling and stretching. Tuesday was supposed to be 11 k's of recovery plus some speed work at the end. It was like 8 100 meter strides. I feel like some light trails, so I did some like recovery at Southampton Creek, then did the strides at Roost Park. I felt pretty solid throughout. Wednesday was a 6k recovery. Decided to do it on grass this time at Bankstown City Sports Complex. It's probably the shortest morning recovery jog I've done in the program so far, excluding those evening double recovery runs. It felt pretty nice to not do like an 8 or 10k recovery in the morning for once. Thursday was some intervals. It was supposed to be 4 by 1200 meters at 5k pace with like around 2 minutes of jog recovery in between each interval rep. I did like a 3.5k warm up to the Riverwalk in Newington, did my intervals there, then did like a 3.5k warm up back. During the warm up, I was feeling kind of off a bit for some reason. Like my feet were getting sore. It turns out that I tied my shoelaces too tight, so like my feet were starting to cramp, I think. I just stopped for a bit and just loosened up a bit, and yeah, afterwards it was fine, I guess. The intervals felt quite strong. Friday was 8k recovery. It was also raining fairly heavily that morning for some reason. Decided not to do it on grass. I just did it around Roost Park instead. I think like it's been a few months since I ran in the rain, so yeah, I wasn't really looking forward to it, but at the same time it was quite refreshing for some reason. I'm also pretty glad that I'd have to do strides as part of that recovery run, because yeah, I'd imagine it'd be quite dangerous, I guess. Saturday was supposed to be a 10k recovery with some speed work at the end. It was supposed to be like around 8 by 100 meter strides. I did like a mile warm up and then like 4 strides, and then went straight to Rhodes Park run, and then did like 4 strides afterwards. It was kind of all over the place. I don't feel I hit like 10k's, but yeah, it should be fine, I guess. And then Sunday was a 21k medium long run. It's also like the last medium long run in this whole train program, I guess. I did it along Cooks River Cycleway this time, and yeah, started at KMC, went all the way to like Strathfield, and then decided to go eastbound all the way to Marrickville. It's been a long while since I've gone that way, since I usually start at Marrickville and then go all the way westbound to like Sydney Living Park and then Parramatta and that kind of stuff, but this time I went the opposite way. It was like a nice change in scenery, and yeah, it felt pretty solid throughout. Anyways, that brings the total weekly mileage to around 69 kilometers. There was plenty of recovery runs that whole week. I think it was like 4 actually. I'm feeling pretty decent going to next week, which will be the final week of the taper. Anyways, I want to quickly talk about my race day thoughts and strategy. So in terms of training, the final week will be mostly recovery and strides. So it will be like one dress rehearsal run on Wednesday, which is like start with like a long run and do a bit of like marathon pace in between. But yeah, pretty much taking it easy with all those recovery runs, I guess. In terms of recovery, I'm still doing plenty of foam rolling, mobility, stretching, and like massage. I'll pretty much keep doing it until the race day as well. I'm not adding anything new to the routine. I'm not doing anything crazy for it either. In terms of sleep, I'm really prioritizing like decent sleep in the days leading up to the race. In the past turnip races I've done, I find that even if my sleep isn't that great on the day itself, as long as I've had like decent sleep leading up to the race, like I'm talking about like 2 days out or 3 days out, it's usually fine for the race day, if that makes sense. In terms of nutrition, yeah, pretty much just eating the same thing I've always been eating throughout this whole training, and staying hydrated throughout as well. I have heard of carb loading and that kind of stuff, but I haven't really looked into that much. I might eat a bit more carbs in the days leading up to the race, but nothing too crazy, I guess. Probably a bit more pasta or bagels or bread or that kind of stuff. In terms of fueling, I will bring like a little water bottle on the day of the race, just to like sip on before the actual race starts, and I'll probably bring around 5 gels. I'm a bit nervous about the gels because I haven't really taken that many during this whole train block. I've taken probably like 2 or 3 gels throughout all my like long runs and marathon pace runs, I guess, but I think it should be fine. In terms of the weather, the forecast has made me a bit nervous. Most of us who have been training for the Sydney Marathon has been doing it for, like through winter, I guess, which has been pretty nice, pretty forgiving for us. Like been like mostly like 20 degrees Celsius and that kind of stuff in the mornings. And then suddenly this race is gonna be like at the start of spring, and it's gonna be like anywhere between like 25 to like 30 degrees on average. I don't really know. But yeah, like if it's hot, probably like adjust my goals a bit, or just take it really like, carefully throughout the race. Stay hydrated as much as possible. If it's raining, I'm not too fast, I think. Like it'll definitely be harder for sure, and like, you know, there'll be high chance of blisters and like chafing, that kind of stuff. And I'll probably walk hard throughout the race. Whatever kind of weather happens on race day, except for thunderstorm, I think I'll be fine with. I'll just have to like adjust my goals accordingly, and also my race strategy, I guess. In terms of my race gear, I'll probably wear the exact same thing I'll be wearing for like my long runs and also my tune-up races. You know, the white hat, the blue shirt, the shorts, that kind of stuff. And I'll definitely be wearing my Saucony Endorphin Pro 3s, my new carbon-plated shoes I wore last week for the 10k. It'd be nice if I could wear a singlet for this race, but yeah, I don't really practice wearing a singlet, so I don't want to try it now. I'm gonna put a lot of faith in my blue shirt that I've been wearing, and it's done pretty well for me so far, I guess. In terms of the course, they have changed it this year slightly. It's supposed to be better, but I don't know how I feel about it. It should be fine, I think. It does seem like there's a bit more hairpin turns this year, so yeah, that's probably not gonna be fun, I guess. I don't want to really study the course map that much, or like the course profile. I'm just gonna kind of like see how it goes, I guess. Okay, let's go through my race day strategy. In terms of the pre-race meal, I'm pretty much gonna stick to what I've had for like my long runs and also my tune-up races. That's gonna be like the usual overnight oats with some honey, some peanut butter and some dates, maybe chuck in some bananas and blueberries, and also like a bagel too. I might have a bit more than usual, but nothing different, I guess. Okay, so in terms of fueling and drink stations, okay, let's go through drink stations first. Firstly, the drink stations start at the 5-kilometer mark. There's pretty much water every 2.5-kilometer mark. There's gonna be electrolytes every 5-kilometer mark, and then gels on the table at the 20 and the 30-kilometer mark. And there's also porta potties, so like toilets at every water station as well. I'll probably bring 5 of my own gels, and during the race I'll try to take the gels at around like 100 to 200 meters before the drink stations, I guess. So I'll take a gel before the start, at the 7.5 kilometer mark, and also the 15 kilometer mark. And then at the 20 kilometer mark, I'll try to grab a gel from the table if I can, and then take it at the 22.5 kilometer mark. It's a bit of a gamble here since I don't know if there's like that many gels on the table, or whether I'm able to like, grab one in time, I guess. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess. And then I'll take another gel as I approach the 30 kilometer mark, and then I'll grab one on the table if I can, and then take one at 35 kilometers and also one at 40 kilometers. So that's like 7 gels in total. I feel like that's plenty, and that's probably more than I need, but yeah, we'll have to see how it goes, I guess. In terms of water and electrolytes, I'll try to grab one at every single drink station if I can. Okay, let's talk about warming up. I'm gonna have to keep it minimal to save energy for the race. So the idea is I'll probably do 2 by 5 minutes of like light jog. In between each light jog, I'll do some like dynamic stretches or movements. No need for strides or anything, but doing the light jog, I might accelerate to race pace as well. And I'll also try to finish a warm up like no longer than like 10 minutes before the race starts. I'll also go to the bathroom as much as I need, I guess. I'll also drink a bit of water throughout the warm up, and also like pop a gel like 5 minutes before the race starts. And I'll also try to get as close to the start line as possible within my like starting block, I guess. All right, let's talk about pacing. Okay, so I'm still aiming for like a finish time of around like 2 hours 50 minutes. So that's around like 4 minutes and 2 seconds per kilometer. I'll likely run anywhere between like 4 minutes and 10 seconds to like 3 minutes and 55 seconds throughout the whole race. I don't think I'll be aiming to like negative split or anything. I don't think I'm even able to. I'm most likely going to do like a slight positive split through the halfway point. So for example, I might aim to do like the first half in like around 1 hour and 24 minutes, and then the second half in like 1 hour 26 minutes. And then in terms of pacing groups, I think the closest pacing groups for my goal is either the 2 hours 45 minutes group or the 3 hours group. I don't think I'll stick to the 3 hour group this time because I'm going to be a bit more ambitious than that. But I don't think I'll stick to the 2 hours 45 group either, because I don't think I really trained for that kind of pace, and that seems a bit more ambitious than what I'm going for. I'll most likely run my own race and see how it goes throughout, I guess. I'll try to find some groups that are within my goal pace, and try to tag along and maybe lead them every now and then, I guess. Okay, so from the start to the first half of the race, I'm going to start off very conservative for the first 1 to 2 kilometers, maybe like around 4 minutes and 10 seconds pace to get a bit more warm, and like once I get into rhythm, I'll start like, picking up to the goal pace. It'll definitely depend on how I feel after warm. There's absolutely no need to go super hard early on. The idea is to pretty much cruise for the first half, so that means like staying fast but also relax at the same time. I'll definitely try to take electrolytes and water as much as I can in the early stages of the race, even if I'm feeling good, because I feel like it's better to like get it sooner than later. And I'll also go through like a little mental checklist early on in the race to see how I feel, to make sure I stay relaxed and have good form, I guess. So that means like make sure my shoulders are relaxed, make sure my arms are relaxed, my body's upright, and so on. Okay, so from the halfway point to like around 32 Ks, I think this is the part where it's really easy to drift off, and like this is where groups start to string apart and stuff. I really need to like stick to my goal pace and like really focus at this point. I'll also continue to take water, electrolytes, and gels as planned to keep myself alert and also like in decent condition. Muscular fatigue is also likely to kick in at this point, so yeah, I'll definitely continue like that mental body checklist as well every now and then. Takes like a few seconds, you know, start from top to bottom, focus on one part of good form at a time. Is your head lined up with your shoulders? Is your face and like your neck relaxed? Are your shoulders and arms relaxed? Like, make sure your fists aren't clenched up. Make sure your hips are sort of relaxed too. Make sure you're striding as you are normally and you're not like overstriding on something. And from that, I can also try to fix my form as I go to like reduce the chances of like even bigger form breakdown later on. And then for the last 10K race, yeah, like last year this is where I cramped, so hopefully it doesn't happen this time. I feel like as long as I've paced myself well and I've been taking my water, my electrolytes, and my gels as planned, I should be in fairly good condition at this point, and also for the rest of this race. So pretty much I'll try to stay focused and yeah, and just give my best shot at this point. Try to finish strong if I can. It's very possible that I'll have to drop out of a race if I have like a medical issue or like an injury. For example, if I'm in pain somewhere and it's getting like worse and worse and I'm starting to limp or something, an injury's already happened or it's coming, and yeah, it's definitely not safe to like continue. Or I get like lightheaded, I feel like I can't concentrate, maybe from like heat exhaustion or something. Again, it's pretty unsafe to continue. I haven't really experienced that doing training, but I would definitely keep an eye out for that during the race, I guess. But if a race isn't going well because I started off too hard or like didn't pace myself well and I'm not injured or anything, or maybe like I tripped over and fell, but I'm still pretty much fine for the most part and can finish the race, I'll definitely try and finish the race. I'm not gonna drop out for those reasons. In terms of like slowing down and stopping, I might do that for the drink stations actually. I feel like if it's really unsafe to like run past, then yeah, I'll just slow down and walk if I have to. A few seconds lost is no big deal. If I somehow really have to pee midway, then yeah, I'll go to any of the porta potties that are available at every drink station. A minute or two lost is no big deal. If I get like hot spots or blisters, I think I'll have to like slow down or stop it and adjust my shoes or something. But usually if that happens, yeah, performance will take a massive hit. It will likely still be possible to finish, but it just won't be a great experience, I guess. And in terms of cramps, yeah, last year I got cramps in both my quads. I can't just like slow down, walked and then just kept going somehow. I don't know how I got away with it last year, but this year, I guess if I get cramps, I'll probably just slow down and stop it and stretch for a bit and see how it feels, I guess. I feel like once you get cramps, it's really hard to recover from. I'm really hoping I feel myself well enough so that I don't really get cramps, but if it happens, like, we'll have to see how it goes, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts leading up to race day and also like my race day strategy as well. It's not super comprehensive by any means, but it's still something, and hopefully it serves as a reminder for myself and maybe it helps you guys out as well. It's unlikely that I'll fully stick to my race day strategy, but I think I'll be able to adapt to it as I go. For the most part, training has gone fairly well since I started in mid-May, and now it's time to go out there and give my best shot. If things don't go to plan, then it should be fine. It should be like an enjoyable race day anyway. There's always plenty of time for training on races later on. For those of you racing the 2023 Sydney Marathon, I wish you guys the best of luck, and hopefully I'll see you guys before, during, and after the race as well. That's pretty much all to say for now. Thanks for watching as always, and have a nice day. Bye.